Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy on AM 790 KBC and across the USC Trojans Media Network. Thanks for joining us again on a Monday night. I am Jordan Moore alongside Sean Cody, Max Brown, and the head coach, Lincoln Riley, back with us. USC's head coach interview is presented by I Trust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. Welcome, Coach. 3-0 going into the bye week. Now coming out of the bye week, we get back to it here with the trip to Arizona State. What did you feel like you accomplished in the bye week? How'd that go?
It was a good week. I thought the guys did a good job with their approach. Bye weeks, as we all know that have been a part of it, bye weeks can go a few different ways, and it comes down to, I think, the team's approach during that time. And are you out there to get work done, or are you just punching the clock? And excited about having a few days off on the weekend and all of that. And I thought our guys handled it well. We pushed them hard. We got after it practice-wise all the way up through Thursday, and then gave them Friday, Saturday, Sunday to get a chance to get away from it. And it was obviously great to get back on the field today. I think this team was there was definitely some areas that we needed to get better at. There were some guys that needed to take advantage of the time to get healed up. But I think this team was very eager to get back on the field today. They're ready to go play again, and honestly, I think they're excited to go play on the road. We hadn't had a chance to go do that yet, and they're very, very much looking forward to that opportunity here this week and over the next several weeks.
Coach, quarter way into it here, 3 games. You get to evaluate that over the bye week. You got the chance to play a lot of players, see a lot of guys. What's your evaluation after the first 3?
I think we made improvements in all 3 games. Certainly, I think you saw a steady climb. You're correct. We got to play a lot of players, and knowing that we're going to need a lot of guys. We may not play that many guys in every single game, but we're going to need different lineups and different sets of guys as we go through this journey and this big stretch of games that's coming up for us. So I think that'll pay dividends as we get further down the line. There's still so many kind of target areas for us on all 3 sides of the ball. Penalties, I know, certainly was a big conversation point for us after the previous game. Felt like that, we got a little bit careless and reckless at times with the penalties, and that's something that we can't do. It'll come back and bite you in big games and big moments, and so really try to take some steps there. And then each side, we're not doing anything so good that you don't need to still spend time on it, and then there's still, I think a lot to build in terms of the continuity with these groups and getting them ready for the next challenges that we're going to see. And so, I think it was just we were very comprehensive. I think in the review there was a lot to work on, but again, I think our guys' approach was good. And the other thing that I think you still feel, there's still a lot of competition going on with this team, and there's a lot of guys that are like fighting for spots, fighting for playing time, and that's going to continue. And it was not a kind of casual, kind of happy-go-lucky type feel out there. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are straining, that are in battles, and they know it, and they've got to bring it every day or somebody's going to replace them.
Yeah, how much did that depth change the overall vibe, or maybe even your approach to the bye week compared to last year, where maybe you're having more depth concerns? And obviously it's unique having a bye in general this early on in the season. I guess just how much different was this bye week compared to other bye weeks you've had in years past?
It was definitely different. I think, we had less guys because we're playing more players and we have a little bit deeper roster. We had less guys that we were maybe trying to get healthy or not pumping a ton of reps into them. We have more position battles ongoing, and then the opportunity to continue to rep a lot of these younger guys that you're developing for, whether it's some point this year, whether it's for in the future. Like, that talent base is there, and so every day there was, I think, a sense of urgency on our part, the staff, to make sure we're creating a block of time to continue to develop these guys, because there's a lot of guys there that are going to be really good players, and we got to keep their arc on an upward climb.
You're listening to the head coach, Lincoln Riley, on Trojans Live. Coach, we haven't talked to you since the Stanford game. I asked you at halftime of the Stanford game, I asked you sort of about the balance of the offense because you were running and passing so well, and you said if that's the case, that means the offensive line is really dominating up front. Expand on that, and how do you feel about that group after 3 weeks?
Yeah, we're starting to get some continuity there. We are. I feel like that lineup has started to settle a little bit. You could tell. I think you could really tell this was the first time that, multiple weeks in a row that we played a lot of the same people in the same positions, and some of that continuity did start to take hold. I thought with that you saw us, trigger and cut loose and play a little bit more aggressive at times. So they did a good job. They did. They really, controlled the game on that side of the ball. The run opportunities were certainly there. They protected the QBs. They were good in the screen game. I mean, they were. They played well. It's exciting to see that group start to take some steps. We know some other challenges and bigger challenges are obviously coming down the road, but the kind of the first real sense of continuity since maybe last year. So that was good to see.
Next trip, next game here, first road trip of the year, and that always brings about new challenges. Doesn't matter really who the opponent is, but always the first trip with a new group of guys being back, in a new environment where not everyone's cheering for you, but they're rooting against you. What are some of the challenges you think this team will come up against this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, first you're going to be, you go on the road, you're going to be every other team's biggest game. I mean, that's just it's one of the great things of playing at USC, right? And it's something that you have to embrace. And then you said it. I mean, this is a challenge that this team has not been on together yet. And we understand. This is the old deal. Like you can go watch teams on tape, and then if you're at a place like SC, you go play them. Like you're not always going to see that same team that you saw on tape against whoever else. Like you're going to get their very best. You're going to get their best crowd. You're going to get the best effort out of the players. I mean, like you gotta. If you don't anticipate that, you're missing the boat here, and you're set up to get surprised. And so that's obviously I think a big point for us is understanding that should not catch us by surprise. Everybody again wants to write all these stories about what it's going to play out like. Like you just got to go play, and you've got to go embrace being the villain a little bit. You've got to go embrace the different vibe in the stadium, the travel, all of that, and
different dinners. Oh man, I used to hate those away dinners.
You would ask for the dinners. The away hotel night meals were so bomb, though. At least they were when I was here.
They're typically pretty good. Yeah, the guys do well. So we're ready. I mean, 3 great games in the Coliseum to get us started, and Saturday night, the Stanford game, was a cool vibe in there. I mean, it was that place was rocking. It was a lot of fun, and I think this team is eager to get on the road and go face some of those challenges. And that's we showed the team. I mean, this is college football's roughly 70% of the time the home team wins, and there's reasons why, and the challenge is there. Like if you want to be on a great team, you have to go prove it on the road. Like, because I mean, what does that tell you? It tells you bad teams, they're not going to win much of anything. Good teams are going to win most of their games at home, but the big difference between good and elite is the elite find ways to win on the road.
I want to ask you about your backup quarterback. It's been fun seeing Miller more so in these first few weeks. My first reaction is that he looks comfortable back there. He's able to operate the offense. Where's he at, and where's that whole room at behind Caleb?
Yeah, he has progressed well, and it's been good to be able to play him a little bit more. We hope to be able to play him more in year one, and we just had so many games that ended up being close. And he's obviously been able to get some meaningful snaps. He's taken advantage of it, and he's played very well. Been good to see him. Hope to be able to continue to play Malachi some as well. That experience for him will be invaluable, and he's getting a lot of great reps through the week and developing well. And Jake has continued to do the same. So now I got 4 guys in there I feel good about, and they're competing hard. And like I've told you guys before, we've all been in those position rooms. Like this room has a great vibe. I mean, they push each other. They compete with one another, but they really help each other out too and support one another, and you can feel that.
Little Pac-12 after dark action this week. USC, Arizona State. We'll talk more about that with Coach next. Monster Energy, the official energy drink of USC. Unleash the Beast. And Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC football. Back with more Trojans Live next. Hey, Trojan fans, did you know the Ralph's app gives you easy access to weekly sales and personalized coupons, and you can earn fuel points too? Check out the app today and save while you cheer us on to another great season. Ralph's, proud partner of USC Athletics. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Max Brown, and the head coach, Lincoln Riley. And, Coach, we had Marshawn Lloyd on last week, and it made me think of a question. As you bring in players now in this new world of you're still bringing in freshmen and you're also bringing in the portal, do you evaluate players that you bring in the portal almost more specific to their skill set and saying, hey, I want a back that has a little bit more burst or has great hands out of the backfield, as opposed to a freshman where you're going, I just want a really talented player and we'll figure out who he is over the course of his career? Do you start looking at plugging holes? I mean, we talk about a guy like Bear Alexander. How differently are you evaluating talent between the freshmen and the transfers?
Yeah, I think it's a little more specific, right? Like you've had a chance now to evaluate these guys in college, and so you've been able to see their skill sets develop a little bit, so you maybe have a little bit better idea of what they are. Now, bringing in a 1-year graduate transfer versus bringing in somebody like Bear that was just a true freshman and still has quite a bit of career in front of him. Those are two very different things. But yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly more specific. And the other part of it is, I mean, once a guy's transferred in, I mean, the reality is, it's just the truth. Like, that you have them, probably for the rest of their careers, right? And so, obviously the other side, you intend on it, you hope to, but in this day and age, who the heck knows, right? So, yeah, I mean, I definitely think there better be something there you like. As far as when you're recruiting and evaluating a transfer, there better be something that you like, and you better have a pretty confident feeling that it fits what the need of that next team's going to be.
Coach, didn't get a chance to talk defense about that performance against Stanford with you. I thought it was a tremendous effort out there, especially the front, and I thought the safeties had a tremendous game. What did you think about that performance and how your defenses seem to be trending in the right direction?
Yeah, no, guys played well. I mean, Stanford had put up a number of points a week before in week one, and we just really suffocated them. Mm-hmm. I mean, we did. We eliminated a lot of the run game. Made them a little bit one-dimensional. Guys just played well, flew around. You mentioned the safeties and nickels. I thought we were really physical at that position. I mean, we hit.
B. Shaw was
hitting. Hammer. I mean, we had a lot of just really physical plays that I thought really stood out the safety position. As you said, the front, we did a nice job for the most part on the night, controlling the run, pressuring the QB, and so yeah. I mean, it was. This day and age, you hold any opponent, especially a Power 5 opponent, to kind of what we did, then it was a job well done.
Coach, this week you're going against the youngest head coach in FBS college football, and if we rewind the clock 6-7 years or so, if I'm not mistaken, that was you at Oklahoma at 33.
Yep.
What advice would you have for your 33-year-old self as a head coach, and what challenges are unique not only for any first-year head coach, but specifically when you are that young?
Yeah, I was glad when – I can't remember who took it, the title from me, but I was glad when it happened. So
that's a sweet title to have.
It was cool for a while. It was like, all right, I'm not the young guy. I have a pretty good story. I'll put it in my book. It's not for that, but there's a pretty good story about a veteran coach that I went against pretty early in my career that gave me the boy, you are young when we shook hands before the game. I was pissed. So, but yeah, that one will be in the book. The advice, man, you have to just be yourself, and you got to continue to believe in yourself. When you're a head coach the first time, like I can still remember the feeling. Like I still don't take losing well, but I remember like the first game that we lost when I was a head coach. I remember like just a different kind of losing feeling. Like there's losing, and then there's like I'm responsible for all of this, and then there's losing with that. And I mean, we didn't lose too much, thank goodness, man. But it's you can start to doubt yourself and job you're doing, the direction, all that quickly, and you got to be really, really careful. And I mean, at the time, I mean, for me, we got beat, and we were still I don't know what we were, top, probably 6 or 7 team in the country, and still had a great year in front of us. But I remember feeling like, God, I mean, one loss, I remember feeling like this is the end of the world. I mean, seriously. And it was just like I had to have some people. Thank goodness I had some great people in my corner, Ruffin and Coach Stoops and Coach Switzer and all those guys that done it that kind of helped pull me out of the dumps a little bit, Max. I mean, I was just like, holy cow, I don't know if I can do this. And I would imagine that every first-time head coach has felt that a little bit. And you just, I said you don't get used to it, but you learn to fix what you got to fix and then continue to have confidence and belief in the things that you know are good. And you got to stay the course and set the direction. And any young coach that's going through that the first time, that's maybe everybody else doesn't feel that way, but I damn sure did. Yeah.
Well, great question to end on for this week. Thank you, Coach, for your time. Rajon Davis is next. Coach is headed to Tempe. First road game of the season coming up, 7:30 p.m. kick time. Trojan Tailgate Show will go on at 5:30. We'll be back here on Trojans Live next Monday to break it all down with Coach. As I said, Rajon Davis is next on Trojans Live.